Okay, here we are again to talk a bit more about HCI, and I think we're going to do a little bit of evaluation of some of the HCI today. Is that right?
Yeah, we're going to talk about Shneiderman's laws and his opinions and what I think are the solutions to some of these.
Okay, yeah.
Start with, you've got people who use the internet nowadays tend to be quite good with it, but there's always the front of people that are coming in that are actually new to the idea of the internet. With this comes like anxiety and issues that you don't know what you're doing and you don't feel like you know what to do and you don't think there's anything you can do to do it. Like like if an old person wanted to use a social networking site to get in contact with friends he's lost, say, over a while ago, he might find this difficult if the website isn't right for him, or maybe even find it difficult to work the computer entirely. Because sometimes they can be complicated to get on, they can be complicated to find and other things like that. But there are social networking sites that can, like, suit those type of people,
Right.
generation.
Yeah.
They've been quite successful. The other factor is alienation. You get the people who play the computers for games, just for games and that. With games like the addicting games like World of Warcraft and maybe some of the other FPSs out there, they can really alienate you from things. Because there's something in your mind that tells you you've got to get this done, you've got to get that done. And it gives you a different frame of mind as well. If you're younger and you play these sort of games and you get addicted, what if you run out of subscription, you don't have any money coming in? It could lead to like getting into a lot of trouble with theft and stuff with money and other things like that. It's also the information age is much now as it is ever. If you know a lot, if you have a lot of information, you will be quite a powerful person. The less information you know, the worse it's going to be. Because information is indeed today power.
Yeah.
And you also have the privacy issues with the internet and feeling secure mainly. Because if you're new to the internet, you're gonna not know about sort of scams and hacks that can happen. So you could say be like browsing on eBay or something and buy something and be unawares that you're not actually getting what you're wanting to buy and losing out on, say, a lot of money and in the worst case is losing out on your credit card details and other things like that. And one of the last things I want to talk about, the bad parts about the internet, is the job increase and decrease of jobs. Because in some respects it is increasing jobs, but in others it is definitely lowering jobs, such as machinery and factories and things like that. The labour work that went into them is being replaced a lot more by machines, which is fair because they're a lot more efficient than people in some ways. But if you're getting rid of humans and bringing in machines, there's always another thing for the humans to do.
Yep.
Which I would say is maintenance and making sure the machines don't cock up. Which is basically all I want to talk about.
Okay, that's great. Yeah.
And the next part I want to say is some of the solutions that people have been doing to make things easier for new users and people that just don't generally know about it. It's like the majority of things today have gone into a lot of research about how their, say, programs or applications want to be put out there to make them more either simple, easier to use. Like I mentioned earlier about the social networking sites for the older people. A lot of people will look into them and they'll understand that they don't. Not all these older people use websites, so it needs to be simple and that. So they'll make sure they look into it, like how everything stands out, how they get around the website, and those sort of things. Yep.
So in a way, the improved HCI is one of the ways of actually combating that. Those things bite, by the way.
Where is it?
It's there. It's a ladybird, but it just bit me on it literally just bit me on the hand there. Anyway, bitten by a ladybird. Whatever next.
And the organisational support as well in HCI. Jobs they can be frustrating at times, and you need to know what you're doing really, and it's good to know that a lot of companies are there to support you and to make the job easier really, rather than how it would be harder, say 10, 20 years ago. And with the organisational support comes the design of the job. Things like, say, all the jobs and things like that will be like constantly being monitored and redesigned and improved for the employees, so they make it easier, more modern. I think it's the right word.
Yep.
And definitely something I'll notice is the education side of things. With growing and improving technology and HCI, younger people are going to need to know how to cope with it and how to use it. So over the next, say, 20 years, education in the IT area is going to become a lot more heavy than it might have been, say, when I was learning it in high school.
Yep. Excellent.
And lastly is the feedback. A lot of companies and a lot of, technology side of things everywhere are using feedback to improve their programs and applications, so people can use them easier. So like games do it a lot of the time with betas, inviting players to test their game and then send feedback to them. It makes for better use. Well, it makes for better feedback because the players don't actually know anything about the game other than say what it's called. So they're more prone to finding things that you won't be looking for.
Right. Yep.
That's about all.
That's great. No, that's really good.